going on, guys? Alex with 814 EDC, and today I'm ready to do my full review of the Tempest Knives Jetstream prototype. So this is, I believe, the third model from Tempest Knives, which is the brainchild of Casey over at Knives Fast. You guys all know and love Casey, fantastic guy, and just a really good human being to have in the knife community. I'm glad to be able to call him a friend, and he's just always so positive and upbeat, and brings a very good very good energy and very just quirkiness and, amount of, just Casey's just his own guy, and I just really applaud him for that. And I really enjoy his content and his knives and him as a human being. So, that's a big rambling on of saying Casey is a great guy, but, yeah, Tempest Knives prototype, Jetstream prototype. So he has come out with the first one, from Tempest Knives was the Mach 51. It unfortunately did not get funded on, I think it was a Kickstarter. He came right back with the Pinion, and which I bought, and I really enjoyed that knife. But when I got the Microburst prototype in for review, I fell in love with that knife, and I knew I would carry it so much more than the Pinion. So I sold the Pinion to go towards the Microburst, which I still have and I carry and I love. Great knife, great design, really good ergos, just all around a great design and, materials, stuff like that. Well, this is kind of his first, well, I guess the Mach 51 was a titanium scaled knife. But from that standpoint, this is kind of his first venture into a titanium framed knife or scaled knife. And this is the Jetstream. And I'm going to come right out and say I did not pre-order this knife because I just had other stuff going on at the time, and it was one of those knives that kind of had to get slipped away. But, I've had this in for plenty of time, probably a little bit more than I should, but I have learned that this is a fantastic knife. It's really good in pocket. It's kind of taller than I'm used to, like this way. So it's definitely fills the hand very well, and it's very comfortable in that regards. The titanium has a nice feel to it. And of course, this is a prototype, which I don't think there's too many changes to it. The only change I believe is just the steel. This prototype is in D2, but I think, all in all, it was a pretty solid prototype. I don't think Casey had too many things that he needed changed with it. So I don't, I tried to go back and look at, different notes and different things like that to see if, there was that many changes, but I could not find any in, different messages and different group chats and things like that. So that's good. We're going to get right into materials. So obviously titanium scales. This is obviously a fully blacked out blade with blacked out DLC hardware. You guys can see the, spoked pivot right there, which I love. It's a, signal that this is a Tempest Knives knife. And there's a little logo right there. Very clean, very simple. You only have one screw over here, and then of course you have a filler tab for the milled titanium pot clip, which is nice because that's lefty or righty carry. And similar over here, just a screw for the back spacer. Very clean design, very clean aesthetic. I love the reverse tucks, with the plain Jane tie and the black. Like I said, this is in D2, but the one big change was the production version was going to be in 154 cm. Actually, I don't know if it's 154 cm or 14C. I went back and looked on the Slack page that this is a part of, and Casey said that it was going to be 154 cm more than likely for $140-ish. I should have paid attention to the pre-order. That's my mistake for not knowing. It's either 14C 28N or 154 cm. I cannot remember what Casey decided to go with. Excuse me. As for internal milling, there are 3 pockets on the show scale side, and looks like one kind of longer pocket on the liner lock side. This is a liner lock. Guess I did not mention that. With plenty of lock bar access. Very nice. And this has a little bit of weight to it. It's not super duper heavy, but it has a nice amount of, substantiability to it, which is really nice. You have a hole for deployment. You have this back flipper. I've already gone over the pot clip. Thin grind. Just a nice thin flat grind. Decently thin blade stock, which is very nice. Really like the milled clip, just functions well and also works well, from an aesthetic standpoint. But yeah, from there we're going to move into action. I guess before we get to action, I believe there's other models. I think there was a blue, maybe. Blue and maybe a black. It might have been just these two, though. This one and the blue one. Again, I apologize for not being super, up to date on, stuff I probably should know. But if I'm being frank, I've been very life has been very busy recently. And that's not me, kind of cutting an excuse. It's just, I guess I kind of slip in and out of the knife world a little bit more than I realize I should or I want to. But life's just been really busy with, last minute wedding planning. I do get married in, today the 16th. I get married in 12 days, which is wild. Then we're going on our honeymoon and stuff like that. So just been very busy recently. And I apologize again for not knowing some of the, production version things that I should know. That's on me, and I will try to be better in the future. But yeah, next on to action. And the detent on this is very, very nice. You have no blade play. There was a little bit of blade play with this when I first got it, but I just tightened it up and has been good ever since. Nothing at all. But nice snappy detent. You have the back flipper, which fires out very well. Kind of just grab onto. You have a nice amount of jimping right there. If the camera will focus on it. Just catch it, pull it right down. Then over here you have the hole, so obviously thumb flick will work pretty well. You do have to get used to it just because it's a thinner hole, and that's always something that I kind of talk about getting used to. But middle finger flick works really well, and you guys can hear it has great acoustics. Just fires right out of there. Just bangs right out. Slow roll works pretty well. And the closing action is very nice. Again, you have a liner lock with plenty of lock bar access. Just drops to your nail. One shake and you're closed. Drops to your thumb. Micro shakes. So it's nice you kind of have that ability. It's very, very smooth, especially when you kind of like the micro shakes. It's always, has that sort of satisfaction when you do stuff like that. Just very, very nice, very soft. But yeah, all in all, action very smooth, very nicely done. Great, great action, great drop shot, great detent, all while having no blade play, which is very, very nice to see. So 10 out of 10 on the action department for the Jetstream prototype. Next up, we're going to talk about ergos. And the ergos are very, very good. This is a very simple, design, in my opinion. It's very utilitarian, but that's a good thing because it works really well in the ergo department. And I also said earlier that this is kind of a, taller knife than what I'm used to. So it's, you have a lot more sort of real estate to grab onto, but it feels really good in the hand. You have jimping up top here, and then you do have, I guess there is a little bit of jimping right here from the back flipper, but it's not enough to really catch or use anything. So I guess the only jimping you have is up here, but works really good in the saber grip, hammer grip, reverse hammer grip if you have to do some stabs with it. Draw cut, reverse draw cut works really well. Pinch grip works really good. This does not have a choil or anything like that, so which I don't really think you need. You can kind of choke up here on this little area, and that gets you very good, comfort and gripability with this knife. If I do that, my thumb lands a whole way out here on the knife, and I can do some really good push cuts with pinch grip. My pointer finger lands right here. If you have to drop down in and cut through something, that works really well. If you have to be precise and cut around something, pinch grip always works and is probably my preferred method of doing something like that. But if you're going to have to do some push cuts, I definitely can recommend choking up. But even a choked back, normal grip, I can get all four fingers on here very easily. Pointer finger goes kind of right here at this crest. Rest kind of follows suit. Thumb lands right out here, about halfway out in the hole. It's very comfortable, very nice. The paw clip is a milled clip, so you're not going to get much of a hot spot at all. Sits very flush to the scales, which is nice. And it's also lefty or righty carry. So that's, depending on if you're a lefty, the paw clip can be switched over, which will, change the ergos a little bit for you. But again, it's just so flush and so simple to the scales. It's not causing a hot spot or anything like that at all. But all in all, ergos are very, very good on the Jetstream prototype as well. Just really comfortable. Just a lot to, plenty of real estate to hold on to, but it's very comfortable. Titanium has a nice finish to it. It just feels really good in the hand. So next up, we're going to talk about carryability of the Jetstream prototype. And like I've already said multiple times, middle titanium pot clip that goes, you know, lefty or righty carry. You probably have about that much sticking up out of your pockets, which is not bad. You know, maybe you could have switched to like the one clip, or excuse me, one clip, to the one screw, which would have gotten you a little bit more real estate, because you would have taken away the area for the second screw. But I understand having two screws just gives you that much more stability, and that much more strength when you are, you know, it's in your pocket and you don't want your clip, you know, kind of sliding back and forth. So I can get that. But sits down in your pocket. You have no sharp edges or no jimping. You do have jimping way down here at the bottom, but it's just at the bottom of the knife. So basically you're going to catch it and just bounce right off of it. You know, if you happen to be going down in your pocket for change, chapstick, medicine, something like that, you have no risk. I don't want to say no risk, but your risk is small for going down past this and pulling it up out of your pocket. But it carries well. You know, like I said, it does have a little bit of weight to it, but it's a good amount of weight. It's not like, oh, I'm putting this in my pocket and it's going to be like a pocket brick. No, it's not really what I'm getting at. It just has a nice amount of, you know, it feels, you know, substantial, feels good in the hand. And, you know, you can feel it in the pocket, but it's definitely not a bad carry at all. Pocket clip sits down in, you know, it's lefty or righty, which is, again, really nice. You know, I think I carried this in khakis a couple different times, and I've carried this in gym shorts just around the house, you know, a handful of times as well. And, you know, for the size, you know, which I forgot to mention earlier, the blade shape, excuse me, the blade length is 3.5 inches. Overall length is 8 inches. So it's not a small knife by any means. You know, it's definitely in that sort of mid-range of knives, but it carries well. You know, it's good in on a pocket. You have a nice amount of spring tension right here, and, you know, just no complaints at all, really. Like, it's not, I'm not going to go out on a limb and say it's like the best carry knife ever, but, you know, for what it is, it carries well, has no issues, and, you know, that I can, you know, also applaud in. So that leads me to my final category of price point and would I recommend this knife. So I was looking at TempestKnives.com, which I will leave a link to in the description down below, as well as Tempest Knives Instagram page, which is probably the best to keep updated with. Casey's on there very frequently and is always posting different things. But I believe these sold for $140. Again, that is what I was reading on the Slack page that this is a part of, that we can get on a look at. Kind of, you know, it's how the passaround group works. You get on to a specific page and sign up for it, and then that's how the passaround group sort of builds. And you can put little notes on it and stuff like that. But I believe these went for $140-ish. And depending on, you know, actually not depending on whatever steel you got, whether that was 14C28N, whether that was 154 cm, I think that's a very fair price. You know, you're getting titanium scales, milled titanium pot clip. You know, you're getting a 3.5-inch blade of either, again, 154 cm or 14C28N steel. Great action, great ergos, really good carryability. Just a simple and very, you know, just nice all-around knife. You know, the blade shape is nice. It honestly kind of reminds me a little bit of the Nimble X from EMP EDC. And I'm not trying to say that Casey stole the design, so on and so forth. So please don't take it like I'm saying that. It's nice because it's comparable to that. Just a very simple drop point. Kind of has a little bit of like a sheep's foot vibe going on, but just nice and simple. And that's just kind of what I think this knife, you know, embodies, is just simplistic, you know, kind of elegantness, but also, you know, 3.5 inches of steel is plenty big, and it's just, you know, it's kind of like with the heftiness, and but then with a simple design, it's kind of like simplistic elegantness, you know, bruiserness. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's kind of just how I'm feeling this. Like, there's simplisticness about it, but there's also, you know, it has a good amount of weight in the hand, and it's just ready to go to use and go to work. And that's kind of, you know, my final thoughts on the knife. So would I recommend it? Absolutely. I know Casey's going to be doing a drop of these whenever they come in. So the best way to, you know, keep up on that is to go follow him at Tempest Knives Instagram page, which again will be linked down below. That'll be the best way for you guys to keep up with, you know, information regarding drops and maybe new models, so on and so forth. So, but I'm going to wrap this up now, guys. This was my full review on the Tempest Knives Jetstream prototype. Fantastic knife. And, you know, it's keeping on the awesomeness that Tempest Knives produces. And I'm happy for Casey, and I, hope he sells a ton more of these. So, and I also can't wait to see what his next design is, because he you know, he really has some awesome, but very interesting, you know, designs to him. So I always like seeing what his next project is. But yeah, so I'm going to wrap this up now, but thank you guys again so much for watching. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you guys. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your morning, evening, night, whenever you're watching this, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.